morning and hello. I'm Lindsay Whitley, the Associate Superintendent of Communications and Community Engagement for Cumberland County Schools. Welcome to Cumberland Family Academy's Coffee Conversations. This monthly show allows us to provide timely information to the families of our Cumberland County School students. During each episode, we discuss relevant topics and chat with district and community leaders who share important information with our viewers. Today, we're very excited about celebrating the recent announcement of our 2023 Principal and Assistant Principal of the Year. We will hear their personal stories, what inspires them, and how they came to be premier professionals in the Cumberland County school system. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and join us for this enlightening conversation. First and foremost, I want to introduce our very special guest this morning. I'm very excited to introduce for the first time on Coffee Conversations, our 2023 Principal of the Year, Mrs. Gemette McEachern. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. She's from New Century International Middle School. We also have our 2023 Assistant Principal of the Year, Mr. Kenneth Williams, all the way from E.E. Smith High School. Welcome, sir. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you for having me.
Good deal. So we're just excited. Congratulations are certainly in order. Monday evening at the celebration, our administrators of the year, it was just a great time. So I want to just jump right in. When we think about your role as educational leaders, I am sure you have been inspired by someone inspired you along the way. And so when you think about jumping into school administrator and this role, who inspired you to do that? So we'll start off with Mr. Williams, and then we'll ask Ms. McEachern to jump in as well.
I think really it was the kids and my fellow colleagues that really inspired me to jump into administration. I love the classroom, I love the kids, but I also wanted a way that I could reach a broader scope. You know, as teachers, we have our, 30 or so kids per class period, and that's it. And I began mentoring, being a 21st century mentor, and that really got me into really trying to help other teachers. And so as I continue to do that, I got the opportunity to be an instructional coach. And that really pushed me towards being an administrator, because I get to influence, other teachers, the next generation of educators. And, the more I can influence them, the more they can influence others, and the more they can influence our kids. I think, it says, one to put 1,000 to flight, 2 10,000 flights. So I really do believe that. So if I can help one teacher to become better, and they can help one teacher, and that's always been my motivation when becoming an administrator.
Well, that's exciting. It sounds like you have a passion for education, and at your level, you're even able to make a bigger difference in the lives of children. So thank you so much. Now, to you, Ms. McEachern, I mean, who inspired you to become the principal extraordinaire that you are?
I would have to say it's been a journey. So the journey started early when I was, I want to say 7 or 8, with watching my mother go back and forth to school, grading papers. Just watching other educators motivated me into education, period. And then once I became a teacher and began to watch and work under some awesome leaders, I think that's what motivated me to go into the principalship. And I've always knew that leadership was a calling on my life. So I think that, plus watching others, motivated me to answer the call of school administration.
And I agree, it's definitely a calling. I know we all have this kind of understanding of sometimes we think we know what it means to be a principal, but it's
Mhm.
not just an 8 to 5, even the assistant principalship and the principalship, they're both very demanding roles. And so when times are challenging, you're working through challenges, it takes a calling, right? You have a
Mhm.
passion for what you do, and that's evident with both of you. Now, Miss McEachern, we have a photo of you, and we'll try to put it on the screen. But you look surprised when they called your name. When you found out you were principal of the year. What was going through your mind? Just tell us about that moment when your name was called the other night. How were you feeling? What was going through your head at that time?
The first thing that went through my head when I thought I heard my name called, did they just call my name? Or am I listening for somebody else's name? Or like the thoughts were, are you thinking that that's what you want them to call your, like there were so many thoughts going through my head, but I was extremely surprised. But I felt like I was in a pageant and was that moment where they call your name, and I was shocked and surprised and very encouraged.
That's exciting. We were excited for you, and it looked as if you were surprised. Now, Mr. Williams, what were you thinking? You're standing up there with your colleagues. What was going through your mind when your name was called, our assistant principal of the year?
Um, Honestly, I was in shock. I was just kind of like, I was just standing there, and I kind of had went into a daze. And drum roll, and then I'm like, okay, E. Smith High School. And when they said E. Smith High School, I was kind of like, did he just say E. Smith High School? I'm like, wow. I mean, so going through your head, you're kind of like, oh, they're talking about me. So, it was it. I think a lot of emotions go through your mind at the time because it, it's a prestigious honor, and you're in front of your colleagues. Those that have helped you along the way, and you kind of just was. To me, I was just um, kind of like Miss McEachern. I was kind of like, did they just say my name? Were they really talking about me? And so but it was a big surprise. Honestly, I was very shocked. That's really all I
Well,
can
Well, it was
say.
exciting. That's always the most enjoyable part of the evening, is to see the reactions and the expressions on your faces as you are announced and receive that well-deserved honor. Now, Mr. Williams, as we think about your role, you've been an assistant principal for several years, and now you were an assistant principal during a global pandemic. And so I'm sure you had learned a lot already. You would have some nuggets to share, but can you just share with us some of your takeaways, some of your lessons learned as an assistant principal, but also as an assistant principal during a global pandemic?
Well, it as an assistant principal, one thing that I learned from the beginning was that it is very different from the classroom. Classroom, you're very structured. You got lesson plans. You come in, you kind of know what you're dealing with. You may have a couple of hiccups here and there, but you kind of know your daily routine. As an administrator, you could come in with the best laid plan and get nothing accomplished that day that you wanted to, because different things just happen as you go and as you go. And then even for me, my very first year as an assistant principal, we went into, I'll never forget, Mr. Undu was our principal at the time. He came to me that Wednesday and said, I need you to call technology, and I need you to get all of our kids' laptops. And I said, okay. And that Friday before we left, the day we left, we made sure every student had a laptop. Did not realize that we wouldn't see them again for 2 years. And so, as a new administrator, and being over curriculum instruction, being over scheduling, It was very, very challenging, but I had to learn a lot. I had to learn how to really navigate some waters that, you really didn't have a lot of guidance to do. So, but it has made me all the better for going into that pandemic and, switching from doing things one way to doing things another way. And then really now coming back out, trying to, go back to, some of the things that we did before, but incorporating what we learned during the pandemic has really been insightful. It's been very challenging at times, but like Dr. Connor says, our time we rise, and I think we've gotten better as a system because of it. I know I've learned a lot as an AP because of it.
Yeah, I think you brought out some great points. It's not like any of us had a playbook, right? How to navigate through a pandemic, how to educate young people virtually and remotely, and make sure Wi-Fi issues were resolved. And, we didn't have a playbook for that, or how do you test, and, how do you evaluate, just so much. So from the principal's perspective, Ms. McEachern, as you think about the past 2.5, 3 years, what has it been like? If you want to talk about some of the challenges and triumphs and some of the lessons learned over the last, couple of years.
I will agree with Kenneth. It was definitely a challenge. But for me personally, I have learned that leadership does matter. It's usually a buzzword that leadership matters, but through the pandemic, it became personal to me, and I realized that leadership really matters. And as the leader in the building, when you don't have all of the answers to some of the problems and the challenges that we faced during the pandemic, that you're going to have to come up with an answer. And it taught me a lot about myself, because I never thought that I could work from home and be a mom and tutor my kids.
Yes.
All at the same time. It was like, girl, you are very creative. So the pandemic taught me a lot about myself, about my leadership skills. It also made me appreciate my kids. It made me appreciate teachers even more. It just brought out a lot. And I can truly say that I am grateful for the experience, because there's some things that have changed personally and professionally for me because of that experience.
That's amazing. I just think as you all are reflecting, so many memories are just running through my head, just how quickly all of that happened. But what's amazing is it's almost like we did have a blueprint, even though we didn't, because everyone just jumped in. It's like everything we needed to get through that, we had it. We had it inside of us, right? And the natural leaders that you all are, you were able to navigate through it, roll with the punches. I know at one point we were having principals meetings just about every day, and then once a week. And then when we thought it was going this way, things changed. And so I think that really speaks to your leadership and your ability to help navigate our students and staff members and families through one of the most challenging periods in our lives. So kudos to you. Now, Ms. McEachern, I know you've told the story probably like 10 times since Monday night, but you had mentioned during your acceptance speech just some remarks, I guess, that your son and your daughter had about your career and your job. Do you mind, just for our viewing audience, just kind of sharing with us that story? I think it would be very appropriate.
Well, thank you. I'm not sure how my kids would feel about the story now that they know that I put it out there. We were riding to school It has not been too long ago, but we were riding to school one morning doing our normal routine praying. And I was praying, I'm always praying for my staff and my students. And at the end of that prayer, my son said, "Mama, I just feel so sorry for you because you have to deal with all of these kids in this school." And my daughter was in the back seat. And I said to VJ, I said, "Well, why do you feel sorry for me?" And that's when he responded about, because I have to deal with all of the things that go on in the school. And my daughter said with an attitude, "Well, I don't feel sorry for her." And I turned around and looked at her and I said, "Well, Erin, that is mean." And she said, "But I don't." And I said, "Why?" She said, "Because you can handle it." And I'm telling you, it was like something came over me that morning. And I walked into this building like with my chest out and confident that whatever I was going to face that day, that I could handle any situation. And what turned into a moment that I thought she was being disrespectful turned into a day of encouragement, a life-changing moment for me, because I say it all the time. When things are coming my way, I'm saying, even if I'm not saying it out loud, I'm saying it, silently to myself, "Okay, you can handle this. You can handle it. It's okay. You can handle it." So, yeah, that's my little Erin.
That's an amazing story. I think it resonated with me, and I think with many of the people in the room, and that's why I wanted you to tell the story here, because we can handle it. And as educational leaders, teachers, families, students, we're all on our paths, right? Trying to navigate through life, through school, through everything. But we're working together as a school system, and we can handle it. So thank you for that.
Hey, Cumberland County Schools families. Cumberland Family Academy is back with even more offerings for our families for the 2022-2023 school year. We created some brand new opportunities, and we still have what you've come to love about Cumberland Family Academy, like our CFA sessions. Go to our website today to learn more. You will be glad you did.
This year, we're excited to finally meet you, our families, in person at our family events and our community roundtable discussions. Each event will be held at schools and community locations throughout the district.
We also understand that not all families can come out to these amazing events, and we've not forgotten about you. We've actually created a new series called Master Classes for Today's Families. Now it features local and national experts on topics of interest for today's families. Now the sessions will be posted online, and you'll also be able to watch them on demand.
Do you need a quick refresher on PowerSchool or Canvas? We've got you. Hashtag Throwback Thursdays will feature past CFA sessions every Thursday at 6 p.m. on the district's Facebook page.
New episodes of Coffee Conversations are coming your way. Tune in to receive important information from special guests. New episodes of Coffee Conversations will be released on the district's Facebook page and YouTube channel on the last Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m.
Want to get involved with your school and become a family ambassador? Go to the website for more information on how you can volunteer and work closely with school leadership and CCS officials to help organize family engagement activities at your school. You could even receive up to $150 monthly for completing certain family engagement tasks.
There you have it, Cumberland County Schools families. We have so much happening this school year, and we want to meet you. You can find out more information about these events and new programs on our website. Visit www.familyacademy.ccs.k12.nc.us. We look forward to seeing you soon.
know, we're preparing as a school system to launch a program called the Family Ambassador Program, and it's one of our strategies to increase family engagement at our schools. We know that when families are involved, amazing things happen. And so we're going to have a family ambassador at each of our schools, and they will be able to receive up to $150 each month for family engagement tasks. So as you think about the work that you do as an assistant principal, Mr. Williams, and as a principal, Ms. McEachern, we're focused on our students, but we realize, right, we cannot do this work alone. We need our parents, our families, and our caregivers. So, Mr. Williams, if you would kick us off, and then Ms. McEachern, you can jump in as well. But talk about your approach and your philosophy on family engagement and how we should, as educators, you know, partner with them to support our students.
One of the biggest things is communication, being able to really communicate with parents, build relationships with parents. We talk in education a lot about relationship building, but I truly believe that, you know, I know here at Smith, we preach a family atmosphere. And so that being said, we want to make sure that we're also family with our families. So you know, we try to do a lot of things to just really communicate with the parents, communicate with our students. And then also, as I know for me as an assistant principal, when I talk to a parent, I come from it as a parent myself, having two kids in school. And it was, you know, funny to listen to Gemette, because actually she was assistant principal to one of my children at John Griffin. And he loved her. And so that, you know, those things like that, when we as educators can relate to the parents, because we too are parents, and we too have the same issues. We too go through those same things. It's really just building those relationships and letting them know, hey, we are in this together. So whatever we got to do to help our students be successful, that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to push, and, you know, all hope is not lost. And so I think that's one of the biggest things, just really constant communication, and then just giving the parents the opportunity to be able to get involved, be in with their children. I know, especially secondary level, high school especially, sometimes, you know, the parent involvement drops off because the kids are many adults. I tell them all the time, they're still not adults. We still need you here with us, because they need you, and we can't do this without you. So there's that communication, and just letting them know that, hey, we're in it with you, and we actually do understand exactly what it is you're going through.
That's very true. We truly are better together. Ms. McEachern, your thoughts on family engagement?
For me, Mr. Lindsay, it's extremely important. What I'm about to share is probably not what you want to hear, but I have hired parents because they were volunteering in my school, and they have become teacher assistants. I have encouraged some of the parents that have volunteered in my school to go back to school to get certified to become educators. So parent engagement is important for me for other reasons than volunteering in my building. But I think because of where we are at in the state of education, that involving parents and getting them back into the building is extremely important, not just for hiring purposes, but for tutoring. Like, we have some parents out there that are engineers, that are, you know, in other different career fields, that can help out with the small group in math. Or we have some parents that in the communication field are very good in writing, and they could tutor a small group of kids in ELA. So getting the parents back involved in education right now is extremely important. And I think we can get creative with getting them back into schools to serve as mentors to other students, use them as check and connect, tutoring, also just being that resource for the needs of our schools, such as, clothes and, cliques, and just being that resource that our school needs. So I believe that parent engagement, and I'm excited about this initiative. I believe that parent engagement is extremely important, and it is something that we need to look at to fill in some of the gaps in every area in education.
Man, I totally agree. I mean, we have so much potential when we partner with our families and our community members. And ultimately, I feel that that's a direct way that we can support student success. And that's really why we're all here. So, I know we've talked about, I really enjoyed today's conversation, and we've talked about a lot today. But before we leave, I'm going to just allow each of you to share any closing remarks, any closing comments about your thoughts on the field of education, this honor, your next steps, anything you would like to share with our viewing audience. We'll start with Mr. Williams, and then we'll have Ms. McEachern close us out with your final thoughts.
Well, first, just want to say thank you for having us, Dr. Lindsay. I mean, it's been a great honor to be able to come in and talk and, be able to share things. I was asked, what are you going to do now that you won? What are you going to do? You going to take a day off? No, it's time to keep working. And so, because we have a lot of work to do. And so, for me, it's just wanting to continue to get better as an administrator, continue to help our kids, however we can do that. And really, one of the things that we have really been preaching is that we have to invest in our people. We have to have a purpose, and education has always been my passion. So until it's time for me to retire, I got a few more years, but I'll probably be teaching until the good Lord calls me home, just because it's in me. It's what I do. And so, but I just want to say thank you. This is an honor to have been chosen as assistant principal of the year, and I'm hoping one day to further that and maybe be called for another award sometime soon. So we just want to continue to get better at what we do, and that's the biggest thing, and we do that together.
Thank you very much, Ms. McEachern.
I guess I just want to say I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm excited about this journey that I'm embarking upon, and looking forward to being that voice for our school administrators to represent Cumberland County Schools. And if I was to leave any closing remarks, let us as a district continue to rise together, and that's going to take everybody doing their part.
Very well said. And I just want to thank both of you again for joining us on this episode of Coffee Conversations. And thank you so much for all that you do for our successful students, as well as our premier professionals. You are truly role models to everyone, as we all go throughout life and our learning journey. So thank you for being here, and congratulations again on your win. And I also would like to thank our viewing audience for joining us for this episode of Coffee Conversation. So thank you for watching today. My name is Lindsay Whitley, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.